Batson and Associates provide alternative, natural, and integrated services and programs for individuals who choose to address various health issues and ailments such as weight loss, diabetes, acid reflux, constipation, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, and much more. The company also provides services such as live nutritional blood cell analysis testing, critical body function analysis testing, and foot spa detox. Now, there's some numbers. If you wish to contact Batson and Associates, you can do so at 222-8261, or you can WhatsApp them at 314-9975. 314-9975. And with us is Dr. Batson. Good afternoon, Dr. Batson.
Good afternoon, Samantha. And how are you?
Dr. Batson, if you could unmute for me would be pretty fantastic.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Dr. Batson from Batson and Associates. Good afternoon and welcome once again.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I am fine, thank you.
So, as usual, always a pleasure to be here discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. And, as your introduction reiterated, it's an organization of trained practitioners in natural and integrative medicine. And, that's something that I sometimes always have to clarify for individuals, because persons automatically, when they hear the word natural, they automatically assume that your methodology or your dealings with any disease or anything like that has to be specifically herbs. And that is actually not the case, because when you look at clinical nutrition, which is one of the qualifications that I hold, you find that clinical nutrition involves so many other nutritional aspects. So, for example, you have things like vitamins, minerals, enzymes, phytonutrients, anthocyanins, you have adaptogens, and the list is exceptionally long. So that's something that, a lot of persons, I think, miss out on, because, sometimes they may have a preconceived notion that, it's just a herbalist. So, there is no sound knowledge or no sound medical background in actually addressing their specific medical case. And that's actually not the case, because as I have said on previous programs, and again, to reiterate what we have spoken about on those few times, most persons are cognizant to an extent of what they need nutritionally, most persons, but their knowledge and skill set as regards to where to that is, it's really lacking and it's really wanting. And that is why you have so many persons who have specific ailments and diseases, and a lot of times they try to get better, and as the old people say, spinning top in mud. They're not really able to get the relief that they're looking for. Right, so that's something that you could keep in mind. Keep in mind, it is an open forum, an open discussion. As regards to our locations and our telephone numbers, we have 4, and those clinics are located. The first, which is head office, is first floor Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We also on the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. And Tobago, of course, is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. Those office numbers, again, quite easily, you could get us on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That 314-9975 number is, of course, a WhatsApp. So, if it is you want delivery or your question is one that may be a bit wordy, and, because the phones are usually very busy. So, you could always message us there, and then we'll be able to get back to you and give you an appropriate response as regards to what you may need to find out. Of course, we have our social media platforms. We have Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we have Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we have Batson and Associates Trinidad. And you could, of course, remind the listening audience of the contacts that they would have there if it is they have any questions as regards to their health or any services or products of Batson and Associates.
Yes, our hotline numbers are 627-3223, 627-3223, or you can also call 625-2257, 625-2257. Dr. Batson is inviting you to call him with your medical questions. And you can also send your medical questions to our WhatsApp number, 306-1065, 306-1065. Dr. Batson?
Yes. So, with that being said, the topic that I decided to touch on a bit today is the topic of hypertension. We had discussed in the previous weeks, we had discussed diabetes, we touched a bit on arthritis. Someone had given us a call on thyroid problems. So today we're going to talk about hypertension. What really is hypertension? What are the numbers that you're supposed to have? When are you really in trouble? Is there any way that your lifestyle affects your high blood pressure or affects your blood pressure in general? And of course, what do we do at Batson Associates to really address that problem? The thing is, hypertension is basically high pressure in your arteries. A lot of people are not aware of that because you have three major blood vessels in the body. There are arteries, which are usually larger in circumference. Then you have your veins, which are a bit small, which are smaller than the arteries, but veins tend to be more elastic than arteries. And then you have your capillaries, which are basically microcirculation. So that's circulation on your fingers, to the back of your eyes, circulation in your brain, your toes, that type of thing. So hypertension itself is actually high pressure in your arteries. Now, you have two types of circulation mainly. You have pulmonary circulation, which is circulation above your heart, and you have systemic circulation, which is below your heart. You also have what is known as microcirculation. So an individual who is hypertensive, we know the numbers that usually touted in the medical community. You're often told that an ideal blood pressure would be 120/80. Your pulse anywhere in the vicinity of maybe 65, 75. We could work with that. Athletes usually tend to have very low pulses. So a professional athlete, somebody who's maybe track and field, or somebody who is a rugby player or somebody like that, they would have generally a resting pulse of maybe 50. And that's normal because once you're an athlete, your body, of course, is doing more swimmers and that kind of thing. You would have a more efficient pulse. So the thing is, 120/80 is good. However, we have to be realistic when we start to get older. So if you're looking at a 65-year-old male, or you're looking at a female who is maybe 50, is it easy for her to really, or him, accomplish a blood pressure of 120/80? And that is not easily attained unless that individual is aware of certain things. So, they might live a pretty clean lifestyle. And when I say clean lifestyle, they don't use too much processed foods. They're not in too much of sugar. They don't use too much stimulants, so coffee and those type of things not in the diet. They would do some form of exercise where their heart rate increases, and they would do that maybe anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week. So with those things taken into consideration, then it would be easier for someone that age, male 65, female 50, to really come close to 120/80. But generally, if you get like 125/80, 130, the thing is, your diastolic, so your upper number is your systolic, your lower number is your diastolic. The diastolic is really the most important pressure. I'm not saying that the systolic is to be ignored. However, you can have, let's say you might have a systolic of, let's say you have a systolic of 125, but your diastolic, which is the lower number, is 100 or 105. Then that's sounding an alarm. Something is wrong there. And it's going to mean, adjusting and making the necessary changes to correct that situation. So that's one of the things. What contributes to hypertension? Well, a number of things. Stress is one. Lifestyle, definitely. If you are someone who tends to like a lot of meat, especially red meat and all types, you could find yourself in a hypertension situation because of the digestive system, the strain that the body is going to have, especially with this amount of protein in the diet and that type of thing. That can contribute to a hypertensive situation. Dehydration, of course, could also contribute to that as well, because if you're not drinking sufficient amount of water, which I have numerously told persons, the rule for drinking water is your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. It means if you are dehydrated, it can cause a hypertension problem. You might ask, how so? I mean, and that's simple. That's easy to understand. You have to understand, when you look at your blood, blood is primarily 30%, 25% solid, 70-75% plasma. And plasma is primarily the liquid aspect of blood, which would have, so the solid aspect would be your red blood cells, erythrocytes, your white blood cells, that type of thing, platelets. And of course, the plasma is going to be the rest. But the plasma is actually 70-80% of the blood. So it means that if you're not replenishing your water stores properly, that could obviously have an effect on your blood pressure. So that's one of the things that you need to do. Now, there are some persons, you may be on medication for whatever reason. So you may be a diabetic, and as a result of being a diabetic, you may possibly be on insulin, or you may be on some sort of hypoglycemic agent. You might be on metformin, glucophage, diamicron, Dionil, Genovia, any of those. And of course, extended use of those over a period of time can, and diabetes itself can now contribute to a hypertensive situation. But of course, it brings us back to the origin of the discussion all the time, where it is we're saying is not necessarily the issue, but it is a symptomology. So the answer is yes to those who may be thinking about it. Hypertension is a symptomology of a greater problem. And I remember at a point in time I was giving a lecture, and one of the things I highlighted to the audience, they were asking if it is one's high blood pressure is affected by lifestyle and water and whatnot. And I said, obviously, because you have to understand these are the importance of blood. Blood is responsible for transporting two key components to cells. Cells give you tissues, tissues give you organs, organs give you organ systems, and organ systems give you the body. So when you're speaking about circulation, it means it transports blood and oxygen. So, blood transports oxygen and nutrients to cells. So any sort of healing or corrective process that the body has to go through, it has to have proper circulation. Persons often ask the question, which is the most important system or the most important organ in the body? And a lot of persons not aware that you have 11 organ systems in your body. So your cardiovascular, endocrine, sexual reproductive, your integumentary system, which is primarily your skin, your glands, that type of thing. And the list goes on. So the thing is, with those different organ systems, you have to understand that cells give you tissues, tissues give you organs, and organs give you organ systems. So in order for any healing or any corrective process to take place in the body, it has to come from a cellular level. And that's where Batson and Associates comes in, because the years of training that we have and the hundreds of persons that we have dealt with, it was always a matter of helping people to understand, for them to get the results that they wanted long term. Because one of the things we have to pay very close attention to, our country is plagued by kidney disease. We have dialysis centers in this country that cannot even keep up with the demand of dialysis patients. For those who are ignorant to what dialysis is, you have basically two types of dialysis, and dialysis is when your kidney is not working properly, and you now have to go on a machine that is going to be hooked up to your circulatory system, and it is going to do the job, or attempt, let me don't say do the job, attempt to do the job of your kidney, because your kidney has so many different functions that could never be duplicated by any machine that a man could make. So it does have something like, but the thing is, people who are on dialysis, and if you have had family who have to dialyze or who were on dialysis, you realize how miserable their existence is. And that's not trying to, bash anybody or to be, forceful or disrespectful in any way, but there are consequences often and all the time for what we do and what we do not do. And I often tell persons that, when it comes down especially to nutrition, diet ethics. I worked in the Shoguna's office yesterday, and I was doing a consultation with a young lady. And one of the things that, they were trying to understand is that, they didn't understand how some of the foods that they were eating was actually contributing to the issue, the long-term issue that they had for the past 10 years. And it's only after I showed them and break it down in as basic as I possibly could, after Ms. Ramdan would have done the blood analysis and the scan, then she was able to realize, but wait, listen to me, I am spinning top in mud. And I said, yes, because you're taking medication, you're trying to correct the situation that you have, but you're making 10 steps forward. And then when you indulge in this particular diet that you indulge in, that you apparently, and apparently the doctors we're going to don't know what you're eating, you are going 100 steps backwards. So that obviously doesn't make any sense. And one of the last points I'll make before we go to the lines is that most kidney individuals, people who end up with renal dialysis, nephritis, and all those type of diseases of the kidney are usually 90% of the time hypertensive people and not diabetic people. There are a lot of people out there believe that diabetes will carry you to a dialysis machine quicker. Nope, not at all. Your hypertension, because you have to understand simple dynamics, you are moving from an artery to very fine blood vessels. If you understand anatomy and physiology and you have ever seen the picture of a kidney, it's in its entirety from an anatomical perspective, you realize how very fine those blood vessels and those vessels in the kidney are. So when you have pressure, let's say you have pressure coming from a pipeline that is, let's say, 10 feet in circumference, and that is going immediately to a pipeline that is 2 inches in circumference. It means that that high pressure is within a much smaller vessel, and as a result of that, rupturing is going to take place, damage is going to take place. And then when that happens, then you may go and do something called an ESR, which is an erythrocyte sedimentation ratio, which is the test used in the medical field to determine the levels of your kidney. So whether your kidney 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And usually when your ESR is very bad, you end up stage 5. And usually stage 5 kidney individuals, we have helped some in the past quite successfully that they did not have to go on dialysis, but they were very prudent, they listened, they were very receptive to the diet and the instruction and the exercise, and as a result of that, they were able to come out of that. Because that's the only way for you to come out of a situation like that. Medication can't help you with that. No way, no way, no how. It has to be a recuperative, a rejuvenative process, and that has to come together with a number of things. So very quickly, let me give you those telephone numbers. Again, for the Debe office, you can get us on 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. 220-8113. Chagonas, 222-8261. And Tobago is 226-4553. Samantha?
And our hotline numbers here at studio, if you have a medical question that you would like to have answered by Dr. Batson, you can call us right now at 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also feel free to WhatsApp your medical question to 306-1065, 306-1065. Dr. Jason Batson is the managing director of Batson and Associates Limited, and he has over 12 years of experience in the health and wellness industry, an avid health enthusiast. Dr. Batson?
Yes. So I'm looking at our social media feed here, and I see someone is asking the question about low blood pressure. And the thing is, whenever you have low blood pressure is a key indicator most of the time of an anemic situation. What is anemia? Anemia is when your blood count is primarily low. Now, you would find females, if they are in situations where they may have things like polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, adenomyosis, they may have a situation where when their monthly comes, it may last longer than it's supposed to. So as the normal female would get anywhere between 5 to 7 days, there are some women, who may see some sort of bleeding or spotting for the whole month, maybe 30 days. And some women experience very heavy bleeding, very heavy clots. Now, the thing is, females, of course, need to pay very close attention to themselves, especially now. Because, I mean, not veering away from the discussion that we're having as regards to hypertension, but when you look at hormonal imbalance issues, that's the next thing that we're just doing well in a set of things that we shouldn't be doing well in. You know, our numbers are very high where that is concerned. You know, a lot of women, very young women, I'm speaking about 16, 15, 14, you know, being actually recommended hysterectomies. As I had highlighted before, a hysterectomy is the surgical removal of a female's uterus. You have a partial hysterectomy where the uterus is taken out and the ovaries are left, if you're lucky. And then you have a total hysterectomy, which most of the time you get because when the surgeons go in there, no fault of their own, sometimes things are fused together. It's literally, I mean, without being disrespectful, it's in a mess. And, you know, the surgeon, as skilled as they are and as skilled as the ones that we have here, it is very difficult to do that. So it might cause you to be under longer. And, you know, there are certain challenges that they don't really want to take. So they have no other choice but to remove your entire uterus and your ovaries. Of course, when that happens to you, you have, you're thrown automatically into immediate menopause. And then, of course, you have to look for things like anxiety, depression, insomnia, issues associated with mental illness. Then you have to look for things like scar tissue and adhesion. That's never a good journey. Never, 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 never. One of the things I wanted to touch on too quickly as well, you know, there are the people who love the crutch. Like they went and they give them that and give them it to hold. Where they love to say, you know, well, I come from a family that, you know, everybody has diabetes. And I come from a family that, you know, everybody has hypertension. Or all the women have problems with the ovaries. Let me tell you something. Studies, science has shown for years, when you look at the genetic predisposition and genetic correlation as regards to diseases, especially specific diseases like cancers and those type of things, there are some genetic markers. However, those genetic markers are always very, very small markers. And anybody is telling you other than that, I'm telling you, they don't know what they say. It's very small. And that's why the World Health Organization some years ago no longer started calling diseases, but they started calling them lifestyle diseases. So if that is the crutch that you're limping on for the longest while, you need to throw it away because that's not working for you. And you saying that your mother, cousin, sister, cat or dog had something, that ain't helping you either. You need to man up or woman up and say, listen to me. Yes, I may come from a family that may be prone to obesity, because you have to understand that everybody eating the same food, you know. And when women leave their mothers' houses and they go to cook for their husbands and their family, what do they cook? What their husband teach them to cook? No, they teach what their mother, they cook what their mother teach them to cook. So you have to understand, it is a cycle of a lifestyle. And once you continue to perpetuate and follow that lifestyle, there's no other choice here because nobody's doing anything different. You know, and that is something that you really need to pay very, very close attention to. And you know, stop doing yourself that injustice, because that's really an injustice where you have to understand that, yes, you may come from a family that, you know, they might be predisposed to prostate cancer. They might be predisposed to breast cancer. Nobody is saying no, but you have to understand now, because of that situation, that you have to be even more diligent, even more even more practical in terms of your diet and doing certain things, do your research, try and eat better and that type of thing. Because all the research, one of the greatest nutritional studies that was ever done in the world was the China study, which was done over an extensive period of time with millions of people. And they proved without a shadow of a doubt that nutrition fundamentally is what makes the difference. And nutrition could even change genetics. So, you know, try and come out of that. And, you know, not saying, well, okay, everybody has stroke and everybody has thing and continue eating foolishness and don't expect you'll get sick. You need to do better than that. Okay.
Dr. Batson, we have a couple questions that we could get to.
Okay,
this
good.
person is asking, I am 58 years old. I'm female. I normally test my pressure home. Sometimes it's below 120. Something over 120. But when I visit the doctor, it always goes up high, like 160. What could be the cause?
Well, you see, the thing is, that's not only that individual. That happens to most people. There's a saying in the medical fraternity, something called white coat syndrome. So it means you're basically afraid of doctors or you become anxious in medical facilities. And that happens to a lot of people because you have two minds. I remember you have your conscious and your subconscious mind. You don't control your subconscious mind. Well, at least most of us can't. So it means that because of that psychosomatic response, you could now have an elevated blood pressure. And that happens to a lot of people. So usually, most of the time when my clients come to me, even if they get a high blood pressure at the office, I mean, depending on how high it is, we let them rest, they do what they need to do. We will test it again. But I always encourage people to know your numbers. And one of the things that everyone should have, especially if you know you are diabetic or you have been diagnosed at some point in time with hypertension, or even not. You know, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, as my great-grandmother used to say. So it's a matter of knowing your numbers. So once you check in home and you're getting a 125 over 80, you're getting a 120 over 75 and that kind of thing, when you go to the doctor, what you should even do is walk with your notebook. So the doctor might say, listen, what's going on with you? Again, I 180, I 180 over 1 something. Yeah, what's going on with you? And you just simply say, doc, listen to me. When I come in the office, I feel a little nervous. Look my book. And when you show the numbers, you'll realize that you really do have an issue. That's just a psychosomatic response, so as we call white coat. And that happens to most people, most people. Okay?
We have another WhatsApp message that reads, good day. Could the doctor speak on alopecia and what could help, please?
Okay, alopecia. So very quickly, that's basically, it is classified as an autoimmune disease. Now, the thing with autoimmune condition, so it's an autoimmune disease that the body basically attacks the hair follicles, and as a result of that, they become damaged and the hair begins to fall out and that type of thing. And that is true to an extent, but I'll tell you something. Autoimmune conditions, every last one of them, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, psoriatic arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, and the list goes on, because we have thousands of autoimmune conditions, are simply an indication of a very, very, very unhealthy gut. Very unhealthy. So there are a lot of us walking around and we don't understand how important our gut is. So your gut basically houses pathogens. What are pathogens? We have 5. They are bacteria, parasite, fungus, protozoa, and worms. Most of the time in your intestines, you have what is known as healthy bacteria. You have some of them fellas and them that could become a little rogue and thing, but that depends again on your diet. So someone, for example, who doesn't defecate well, so you do not have proper bowel movement, you now create an environment that is conducive to some unhealthy fellas really reproducing inside of there. A lot of research was shown. There was a doctor from Harvard University who did a study 4 years ago, and he did a study on something known as leaky gut syndrome. And I always encourage anyone who has any kind of sickness to research that. And one of the things that he found is that there are so many persons with leaky gut syndrome where these pathogens leave your intestines. You have to keep in mind your intestines is where, your small intestines is where what? The most amount of absorption takes place. Anything that leaves your small intestines goes into your bloodstream, and anything that is in your bloodstream will eventually get where? Every single place in the body. And that's fundamentally what it is. So an individual who has a problem like that, they need to work from the base again. So that's nutrition. There's a number of things that they have to look into. But you know, if they deal with it quickly, they can reach a point where they can actually have regrowth and those things taking place. Okay.
Batson and Associates started its operations in September of 2009. It's an organization of trained health consultants and practitioners in Ayurvedic, Chinese, holistic, natural, and nutritional medicine. Batson and Associates provide alternative, natural, and integrative services and programs for individuals who choose to address various health issues and ailments such as weight loss, diabetes, acid reflux, constipation, and a whole lot more. Dr. Batson?
Yes, definitely. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. So, you know, those of you who may be listening and, you know, you may be a little shy, you don't want to call, you don't want to put your business on the radio. Okay, we understand that. But, you know, there are a lot of persons who, you know, I feel suffer unnecessarily. And sometimes they suffer unnecessarily for a number of reasons. Pride. Some people don't like to tell persons, you know, they're sick. Some persons don't like to talk about their sickness. You know, some persons are not open to, you know, trying something new. You know, Albert Einstein was one of the most intelligent men that ever lived. One of the things he said, the only people who do the same thing over and over expecting a different results is mad people. He said that's the height of insanity. So if you're doing a health regime for years, you have diabetes for years. How could you have diabetes for 20 years? What are you doing wrong? How could you be hypertensive for 30 years? So you start off with diabetes, you end up with hypertension, then you end up with kidney problem, then you end up missing a thyroid, and now you're in a wheelchair. And you listen to everything the doctor tell you, nah, man, something has to be wrong somewhere. Something wrong somewhere there. So it's a matter of really understanding you. And I tell persons, you are your doctor first. And that is something that you need to really understand. And you know, we live in the information age now. I mean, a lot of persons, you could end up with analysis paralysis. You have so much information and studying, oh God. But look at your sources. You're pretty intelligent. I don't think we have much unintelligent people out there. I mean, look and find something, but you must be able to try and help yourself and understand. Listen to me. There has to be a change that I need to make. If it is, you know, you need to change your diet, you don't drink water, start now. Because I am telling you, if you are not drinking water and you are sick, you will not get better. There is nobody in the world could tell you otherwise. I am telling you that. So, you know, with that being said, I'm looking at our time. Let me just quickly say those telephone numbers for Shagonas are 222-8261. Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. Tobago is 226-4553. On Facebook, we are Batson and Associates Limited. On Instagram, Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, Batson and Associates Trinidad. Thank you very much, Samantha, for your time. And until next week, please God bless.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batson. That was our special health segment featuring Dr. Jason Batson of Batson and Associates. Visit them today on the first floor, Money.
Facebook family, I'm so sorry that I missed you guys this morning, but you know, I always have a million things to do, so I was seeing about something. So I will make up to you guys on Sunday, please God. And hopefully, this Sunday, I will try and give you that evening program. Okay? I'm going to try my best to do that. So look out for that. There are some things that we need to dot some I's and cross some T's in that department, but I am quite optimistic that we will be able to do that. So as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless you guys. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Keep in mind those telephone numbers. Shagonas 222-8261. David's 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago is 226-4553. Tobago office, I am not treating you badly. Believe me, there are some things that, you know, we need to finish put in place. But, you know, we get in equipment and all those things. So just bear with us a bit. We nearly finished what we need to do for you guys. So very soon we'll be up and running full-fledged to give you the quality service that you deserve. I should be in Tobago this week coming here. So you can always call that number and get the information from Latoya. That number is 226-4553. Again, 226-4553. God bless and do enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.